Well, in 1997, I took a vacation with the family to go out west to places I've been wanting to see basically my whole life. So here we are at the Gateway Arch. And this, of course, is located in St. Louis, Missouri. We actually went up inside of it to the very tippy top. And as we're driving along, we would come across these huge fields of sunflower plants. So we pulled over to take a look, just to take it in. You know, that's what vacations are all about. I know a lot of people like to jump in planes and fly over the U.S. to get to where they're going. But in this particular case, for me, I drove the whole way out there in a Mercury Villager van. Now here is the original Pony Express station located in Nebraska. The exact town eludes me, but it's not that important. The Pony Express was a pretty fascinating way for our government to get mail and packages from one place to the other. So there you have it. I guess it started in 1854. Now here is Boot Hill in Ogallala, Nebraska. You actually go into a neighborhood with houses, streets, and sidewalks and well-tended yards. And then in the middle of everything is this hill. And on the top of the hill are these gnarly old monuments, some made of wood. Some, like this, were positioned on the ground to mark the passing of people. I think these headstones that were made out of wood and carved are most likely recent creations. I don't think your typical wood is going to last from the 1800s. And in the distance is Chimney Rock, Nebraska. This was a significant landmark for pioneers along the Oregon Trail, rising 470 feet above the North Platte River Valley. It was a visible marker indicating the end of the Great Plains and the beginning of the Rocky Mountains. Now, when you go out west, you're going to encounter the North Platte River just about everywhere. You couldn't walk out to Chimney Rock because the area between the parking lot and that geological structure was full of rattlesnakes. So we didn't go. Now, I couldn't locate any information on this place that we booked to visit, and we actually camped there as well. But it was kind of like a dude ranch experience. They had all these tables under coverings, and they had sort of a fort there. And they cooked us a really great steak dinner. Forget getting medium or medium rare or rare. All the steaks at this place were well done. You'll see the ubiquitous cottonwood trees everywhere, as well as the occasional Russian olive plant. That's my car and my tent in the background there. They let us spend the night there, even though there wasn't particularly a campground set up. We had the whole place to ourselves all night long. Now, the thing that was fascinating, along with you getting to take a a wagon ride around the area and this tour guide giving us information. But every 15 minutes, a 150-car train would pass by, all full of coal, all day and all night long. That's a lot of coal. Look at that meat. I'm telling you, that was a good dinner. Sadly, I cannot find any information on this place at all. So I believe it is out of business, or somebody took over and turned it into something else. And we winded up everything with a nice campfire and guitar playing and nice experience. Now, the next place that we went to was the Oregon Trail ruts. So many wagons passed through this area that they literally wore the ground and the stone away. And the ruts are still visible from the travelers out west. Look at that. That's crazy, but there it is. In a little town called Guernsey, Wyoming. Wagon Trail ruts. We encountered the same thing at Scotts Bluff. Now this place, sign went by quickly, is the Register Cliff Monument. It is also located in Guernsey, Wyoming. And the travelers on their way out west, they would carve their initials, kind of like Kilroy was here. And a lot of these initials and carvings are from the 1800s. Some of them were, I don't know, they were easy 12, 14, 15 feet tall. They had a fence in front of these lower ones so you couldn't get over and abuse them. However, the ones that were so tall, my guess is they stood on top of wagons or piled something up so that their signature would be way above everyone else's. I actually found way up high my last name, which really excited me. So some of my people, so to speak, took the Oregon Trail and headed out west. I don't blame them. What an adventure it would be. Not an easy adventure, a tough adventure. Now, just take a look at the skies. The skies out west are amazing. I saw this same thing in New Mexico, but that's rain ahead of us. But where I'm standing right now, perfect, clear sunshine. Where I live in the east, you really never see this. You've got to have long distance vistas to see stuff like this. Now, here's an oddball place that we stopped over, a typical tourist attraction. But this place is called Hell's Half Acre, and it is located in Wyoming. And again, I don't remember exactly where it is in Wyoming, but it doesn't really matter. But I love to look at and observe geological formations, erosional formations, be it water, wind, whatever made it. I love to see the stratification in the rocks and all the various colors, the ochres, the reds, the blacks, the whites. I mean, this video doesn't do it any sort of justice. Bits and pieces reminded me of Bryce National Park. I've never been there, but I've seen many pictures and many videos. But early one morning, we finally saw the Rocky Mountain Range off in the distance. We were on our way to the Grand Tetons in Wyoming, and then after that, we were going to go to Yellowstone. And then after that, we were going to head up to Glacier National Park. And then after that, we were going to go up into Canada to WATERTON Lakes Park. But that's in other videos that are coming up that'll be uploaded. It's not in this video. Be sure to look at the description, the notes for this video, or the comments, and you'll see the links for the other out west tour videos that I have, including a lot of very other interesting places that we saw. Just taking in the landscape. That's all I was doing here, marking down the memories. And I'm glad I did that. Now here we are in a really interesting place. I think it was officially the Red Rock Ridge, and we drove alongside a river, and this was called Wind River Canyon, Wyoming. This is the sort of thing you would expect to see in the southwest of the U.S. I did not expect to see formations and drive through canyons like this on the way to the Grand Teton. There's my vehicle there. And I was excited to see all these things. Now, I pulled over to take a picture of this mountain range, and for the life of me, you know, this was a long time ago, and I don't remember what this mountain range is. And it's really not that important. Just more ragged, jagged, beautiful cliffs, withstanding the test of time and all the erosional features therein. Kind of like a drum roll before we actually saw the Grand Tetons, which are coming up next. And there is the Rocky Mountain Range. There are the Grand Tetons ahead of us. I went to school to be a forester, and my goal, once I left the East, was to move out west, to live in a cabin right there at the foot of the Tetons, and do forestry stuff, ranger howl kind of stuff. So to finally get out there after many decades of just looking at movies and flipping through magazines to actually see these was just splendid. I can't tell you how excited I was. Just kind of slack-jawed, just taking it all in. There was so much to take in. It was just breathtaking. Now, I have been back there since with my wife. There I am tooling around in awe, just wanting to get a closer view. It's just kind of nuts, but I'm just nature boy. I mean, that's just who I am, and I have never changed as far as my love for the outdoors. Just spectacular. If you ever get the chance to go, you should go. So when you finally get to the park itself and you're driving around the roads near the Grand Tetons, you will have views like this. And this was dead in the middle of August, but look at that snow on the mountains. That was fascinating to me as well. I didn't expect that at all because I'd never been out here before. And whenever I saw pictures of these mountains with snow on them, I always assumed, well, it must be the winter time. I never thought about elevation and the temperature being different. It wasn't till many years later when I started doing non-technical mountain climbing that I realized the higher you go, you got a good chance of encountering snow. Now this, I believe, this lake at the foot of these mountains is called Jenny Lake. Yep, spectacular stuff. We did not go out on the lake. We actually did hike up into the Tetons later on, but that is going to be another video. We basically drove through and wound up, here we are in Yellowstone, where we're going to do a majority of our camping. Now this area is an old fire-damaged area. And there was a lot of controversy about why the Park Service just let the fire burn. They didn't go in and try and stop it. There was a lot of criticism, but the powers that be, those in the know, felt like, hey, fire is normal. Lightning hits a tree and starts a fire. This same cycle has been going on for millennia after millennia. Who are we to come in, brilliant human beings with our machines and fire engines and firefighters, to come in and try and stop the fire? So they didn't. They just let it burn. And it was disheartening to my family to see it like that, but you know, that's the way it is. Now, Yellowstone, as well as the Grand Tetons, is just full of all sorts of wildlife. You know, you've got elk, you've got deer, you've got the little rodentia running around, like you'll see these squirrels in this video in the Yellowstone campground, chasing each other around the tree. I mean, life is just happening everywhere. Later in the video, you'll see, here you go, buffalo or bison, whatever you want to call them. My family was terrified that it was so close to the road. But that's okay. Now, I had heard about Old Faithful for many years and seen pictures and postcards and stuff on TV, you know, your typical nature shows and all that. But to be there and actually see it happen, it's a totally different experience. It's something that my wife had wanted to see ever since she was a young child. Now, she went out west many years before I did, but for some reason, her family decided not to hang around and watch Old Faithful do its thing. So I'm going to shut up for a minute and just let you look at this. I'm not going to give you a bunch of facts about this geyser. The force of the geysering, or steam eruption is winding down now. But it happens on a remarkably predictable pattern over and over, several times a day, 365 days a year. I do not know when it wasn't erupting. So part 2 is coming up. Thanks for watching.